Today, I'm looking at what many would say is one of the most disturbing movies ever made. And they're probably right. Going into this, I didn't know that, and I wasn't sure what I was getting myself into, but I felt this movie could have been beaten. So, I wanted to share that. So, the movie starts off with a young girl running from a building. She ends up in an orphanage, and the screen cuts to two men walking and documenting the place where the girl was found. It shows where she lived, and she was abused. She doesn't say what happened to her, and she doesn't speak to anyone except for Anna. Anna was Lucy's friend and is the only person Lucy talks to. The screen shows some man talking to Anna about needing her to catch the people who abused Lucy. Anna tells them Lucy also wants to catch the people who abused her. Anna tells them that Lucy is scared and doesn't remember who did it. Lucy didn't go to lunch that day, whatever, and Anna went to look for her and found Lucy in the tub with her arms slit, like self-harm. But Lucy tells her that she didn't do it. That night, Lucy puts a chair on their door, and Lucy hears something in the night, and she pops up in bed, but Anna doesn't seem to hear it. So Lucy gets up and tries to see what that noise is. She gets spooked by something, runs to her bed, and hides under the cover. Lucy pulls the covers down, sees a figure on the edge of her bed, and then that figure jumps towards her, and she gets back under the covers. Now this one, to avoid it, don't get up to investigate a sound by yourself, especially if you're already worried someone or something is coming to try to hurt you. And you're the only one who seems to hear it. What I would have done, I would have went over to Anna and just whatever was going to come at me, she would have been able to because people think Lucy is crazy, and the thing that she's seeing is all in her head, and so. If she goes to Anna doing this attack or whatever, and Anna is not gonna be able to see it, and Anna will be try to probably convince Lucy how this isn't real, and hopefully help Lucy overcome whatever that is in her head. So I don't know. 15 years later, and it's a sunny morning, and we see this family. It's basic things, brother and sister shenanigans, and on the newspaper on their refrigerator we see that Maria, the daughter, she won regional swimming contest, which is impressive to say the least. And the mom is outside working on a outside pipe or something. She then goes inside the house for breakfast. And I like this scene a lot because we're shown a lot about this family in their first scenes, which is crazy. And it's so, I thought we were going to care about these people, and they was going to be one of our main protagonists, but man, not the direction this was going in at all. But anyway, here we learn that basically the son wants to be a pastry cook, but went to school for a law, and they all make fun of him for being a pastry cook, for wanting to be a pastry cook, because that's the funniest thing in the world. Yeah. Anyway, the doorbell rings. The father goes to answer it, and is greeted with a lovely shotgun bullet to his torso. The mother goes to see what the heck that noise was, and is also greeted with the shotgun bullet to her back. The daughter sees it, screams in fear, and runs away towards the back of the house. And the intruder reloads and walks slowly towards the kitchen where the brother is, and he tries to leave through the kitchen door, but the intruder stops him, and she puts a bullet to his torso. Oh wait, that's after. Let me back up. She asks him how old is he, and he says 18, and then she asks him if he knows what his parents did. He doesn't move or anything. He's just staring at her, tears in his eyes. I feel bad for the kid at first. And then she shot him, and then she went to look for the daughter. She goes in the room and gets on top of the bed. Not sure why. She shoots under it, and the daughter under the bed like screams, and the intruder like reloads, taking forever, by the way. And the girl gets from under the bed and runs away, but is shot. Now, let me tell you what they should have done to survive this attack. First, the father shouldn't be opening his door like that. Like, he shouldn't be so careless. It seemed like they live in the middle of nowhere, so who would even be knocking, you know? At least look through the peephole or window near the door. That would have made him survive. As for the mother, she should have not went towards the gunshot, but maybe that's just me. But I think when they heard the first shot, they should have all been trying to get out that door in the kitchen, and they had ample time to leave. The intruder was walking so slow and was really taking forever to reload, honestly. And so by the time she got to the son, I don't know how he didn't leave the door already, but anyway, I felt like the kids at least could have survived, because like she just, as soon as she saw the parents, just blasted them, you know. But for the kids, she talked to the son. It seemed like she was like not going to go through it for the kids, at least for a second, you know. So I feel like if he pleaded with her, or if he said something to try to convince her, she would have not killed them. And like, cause she was obviously being in an emotional state. This wasn't random, you know. No one does this so like randomly. So I feel like the son also could have survived. As for the daughter, at least she ran. I mean, at least she didn't stay in the same area as them, where the gunshots was. I mean, she wasn't the smartest idea to go further into the house, but, you know, I gotta give credit where credit's due. And also, I don't get why she would hide in the most predictable place under the bed, but it is what it is, you know. And also, like, the intruder was taking so long to reload and missed the first shot. And so the girl, she stayed on there for like a long few seconds, and should have ran right when she like stopped hearing it, you know. Instead she waited, and so by the time she got up and actually did run, it was too late and she was shot. That's how they could have beat that situation. Anyway, so then we're showing like Anna, who's like 15 years older, by the way, and she's waiting for a phone call. Then it rings. It was Lucy, who just killed those people, and she's calling Anna, and Anna is like tells Lucy now she wasn't supposed to kill them. She was just supposed to observe them, and but Lucy like doesn't really care. Lucy said like she did what she had to do, and Anna was just like, I should call the cops, or I'm calling the cops. And Lucy asks like, where is she? And Anna asks, where is she? And Lucy's like, I did what I had to. And she asks for the address, and you know, like Lucy is making this call like from the house. So yeah. Anyway. Some time later, Lucy is on the couch looking at her bloody hands. She hears something like in the house, and she loads her shotgun. The door opens, and then like it closes by itself. She shoots it, like not seeing anything though, and then she walks towards the kitchen. She sees something like this. At first, I had no idea what this was. When I watched this movie, it was late, dark, I was alone, so great decisions you're making already. But that thing, I was so scared because I had no idea what that was at first. I didn't even think it was like an actual person. I thought it was like a creature from like Area 51 or something, you know. But anyway, so she grabs a knife, and she go towards the dead mom on the floor in the kitchen, because that thing had ran away somewhere. And she puts her hand in the pool of blood on the mom, and she walks around the house and she raises her hands up like, I did it. Weird flex, but okay. But that thing that's hunting her doesn't seem to care. because it like jumps from like nowhere and starts to slap Lucy, making her fall to the ground. And it gets the knife and starts to make slits in her back. And some grossing shots, may I add. Bro, this was so... It made my back hurt looking at this scene. It was so horrible. But anyway, Lucy managed to knock that thing off of her, and she ran upstairs. She runs into a room, and like that thing starts like banging on the door a little bit. And then Lucy starts to like, she hears her chair on the floor rocking. This is the flashback, and she's remembering what happened to her. In the flashback, Lucy's like on the chair or whatever, and then like someone comes in. The person in the flashback that came in tries to feed younger Lucy. Lucy refuses to eat at first, and so like the person pushes her head up and then puts the mouth in her, the food in her mouth. And then Lucy is back to the present, and she doesn't hear anything. So she opens the door, puts her hand out, and that thing puts the knife in her hands. Lucy manages to run away, and as she's running, she bumps into Anna. Let's go and see how Lucy could have... She did survive, but like being in this situation. So first, she shouldn't even be in this house still. She just murdered this family, so she should have left. It's like, why? Why are you still there? But ignoring that big mistake, when she heard something, it was a good idea to load the shotgun. She shouldn't have been so careless, but anyway. She should have just left at that point at least, because something else is in the house with her. And whatever she was seeing is still coming after her, even after killing the family. So obviously doesn't care about that. But she got the knife, she's walking through the house and was attacked. I don't think she would have been able to see that attack coming, because it seemed like it came from nowhere. Honestly, don't know what to do about that part. But when she was attacked from like behind, but like she was knocked down, and she could have like started swinging. Even if she couldn't see where that thing was, swing, do something. At least try to fight it. But she just kind of took it like a G. That's everyone in this movie so far, just taking it. But anyway, Lucy hit it as she should, and she runs upstairs. Would I run upstairs or outside? Tough choice. She locks herself in a room. And at this point, I feel like this is great, because she could have looked around the room and see what she could have used as a weapon or to block the door and maybe jump out the window. But they don't show the room that she went in, so who knows what could have happened. But anyway, so she bumps into Anna, and she tells Anna that she hurt me even worse, and saying things like she's still in the house. But Anna looks at the scars on Lucy's back, and it's like, I have to take a look inside. Lucy's staying outside though, because scars. And Lucy goes inside the house, and she's seeing these dead bodies, and apparently she has a weak stomach, because she almost vomits, and it's a horrible sight, truly. Lucy goes into the house and calls for Anna. Lucy doesn't know what to do. She says, and Anna is like in the bathroom washing her hands. Anna goes to her car and to get something for Lucy's wounds. Lucy says she'll be back and we should leave. She's the smartest thing I've heard so far. Only smart thing I've heard so far, actually. And actually the only smart thing. But anyway, Anna's it goes to the scene, and Anna is like stitching Lucy wounds in her back, which looks so painful, man. Don't know how she did it, but anyway, Anna tells Lucy like, you phoned from the house, I don't know it was us. Lucy's like, I don't care. Anna says, you'll care when they lock you up. Then it cuts to them moving the dead family members to the bathroom. Don't get the point of that, because like, seriously, what's the point of moving them from like the floor in the house to the bathroom in the house? But you do you, I guess. Anyway, Lucy asks Anna if she's okay, because like she's trying not to throw up right now. And if what she did disgust her, Lucy tells Anna, that smell I smell when they abuse me. And Lucy like then shows Anna like the newspaper. It says it's them. And so you know those people who have horrible timing, or those people who can't take things like serious or crack a joke or something. They have horrible timing, right? Not as much as Anna. Anna kisses Lucy. I honestly let out a chuckle when I seen this because I'm like, huh? I mean, there's a time for everything. This is not one of those times. But anyway, Lucy is like, "What are you doing?" And Lucy looks at the pile of dead people and asks if she'll ever be free of this. Anna says yes for some reason. And if Lucy is hunted by a person she didn't help, I'm sure she's going to be hunted by a group of family members she's killed. But that's just my thoughts. Anyway, it cuts to a flashback of younger Lucy as someone tries to bathe her with the water and sponge and stuff. And then Lucy wakes up. She looks around the room. She's in her daughter's room, Mary. And she sees like the gold medals and stuff. Lucy walks to the window. It's raining, by the way, and she sees Anna dragging the bodies into a hole from earlier where the mom was fixing on that pipe. Anna looks at Lucy through the window, and Lucy just goes back to bed. You know, Anna goes to the bathroom to finish getting the dead people out, and she sees that the mom woke up. And the first thing the mom does is yell. Lucy, hearing this, goes downstairs, calling Anna. And Anna tries to help the mom and says, "Shut up." I mean, she didn't say it like that, obviously. But essentially, she's like, "Be quiet." And then, she grabs the daughter dead body on top of the mom, and she heads out the bathroom. Lucy comes and says, "I called you." Anna says, "I was here." Lucy said, "I thought she was back." Anna takes the daughter outside, drops her on the ground, and then she hears yelling from inside the house. Anna goes into the house and searches for Lucy. Lucy is in the locked room and tells Anna to open it. Anna's like, "It's locked," and starts to ram into the door to get it to open. Inside the bathroom is that girl that's hunting Lucy and is coming towards her. It stabs her in the leg, and finally Anna manages to open the door. They run into a room, and then the girl that's hunting Lucy bangs on the door. Anna tries to comfort Lucy. Lucy has another flashback of her in a chair, the chains on her wrist, and someone comes in with a tray of some disgusting slop, greenish, yellowish. Anyway, they try to feed it to Lucy. Lucy refuses at first. She doesn't even open her mouth, and the person holds her head up, and then Lucy spits it out. Okay, and the person stops Lucy because that fixes everything. Yes. Then the person takes Lucy chains off, gets her up, slap her against the wall, cause efficiency. Anyway, and Lucy kind of pushes this person, and the person kind of trip over this metal hook in the ground, and Lucy makes a run for it, as she should. Lucy then as she's running out the room right next to the door to lead to freedom, she hears someone pleading for her help. Lucy looks at the person, says, "Forgive me," and then she leaves that door. She leaves through the door. I'm not sure why. I mean, she was a scared little kid, and so I guess I would just want to get out of there too, honestly. I wouldn't want to take another minute to save anyone. I don't care. But it cuts to the present. Lucy saying it wasn't my fault, and it honestly wasn't. But Lucy's locked in a room, and she doesn't know where Anna is. Lucy bangs on the door and yells for Anna. Anna took a moment, and then she responds, "I'm coming." But Lucy has no patience, apparently. Someone's short-tempered. And so she jumps out the window. Anna asks what's your name to the mom, and the mom says Gabriella. Anna says, I'll take you as far as the woods. And then Lucy comes and starts to smash Gabriella's head in with a hammer. Anna tries to stop her, but Lucy pushes her away. Lucy asks, why did you help her? She didn't do anything, Anna says. Lucy says she hurt me. And then she starts to smash things around them, like a lamp and pictures. And Anna is crawling away in fear. I feel bad. And then Lucy says, you never believe me. And I said, stop it. Lucy says, you think I'm crazy, just like the doctors. She's not wrong. Lucy smashes a bookcase, and then she hears something from the stairs. She goes over to it, and she tells the girl she sees that it's over. And that girl, that something Lucy, it takes the knife, it makes two vertical, long, very long slits in her arms. And yeah. And it starts to bang Lucy's head on the wall. So there's that. Anna tries to make her way to Lucy to stop her, but then Lucy gets up and she runs through a panel of glass, and she falls on, grass. She runs through a panel of glass, and then she falls on the grass outside. Anna tries to run out to her and tells her to stop, and Lucy's walking towards the road, and then she turns around and she slits her throat. And when I saw this, I was like, what? Because at this point, we was 40 minutes in, and I didn't expect her to die. I thought she was the protagonist, but anyway. Let's go to how this could have been avoided. Anyway, I feel like if Anna would have believed Lucy, then maybe Lucy wouldn't have done that. And if Anna would believe Lucy, Lucy wouldn't have got mad, and Anna would have been able to stop that girl, or stop Lucy from trying to hurt herself. But overall, I think Lucy was always going to die because she wasn't able to get rid of the ghost that's haunting her. And so I felt like that ghost, she would have been so consumed by guilt, she would have died either way somehow. So 4 people could have survived potentially. 1 probably not. Anyway, Anna brings Lucy's corpse in and tries to wash it with a sponge, some water, and it cuts the morning. Anna calls her mother, who's furious with her, and doesn't know why Anna is calling after all this time. Anna says it's because she wanted to talk to her mom. Her mom's questionable about it. And then something like a hammer drops on top of the cabinet in the living room. It's nothing, so Anna ignores it. And the mom is like, how do you live? Anna says she's okay, and the mom says, Christ, you're still with her. And how Lucy's a good for nothing, blah blah blah. Anyway, that another sound comes from the living room, and so Anna sets the phone down and she goes to check it out, and it opens the cabinet where the noise is coming from, and she finds a dark staircase leading somewhere. So what she does? She does the smartest thing yet, but she gets a flashlight and investigate instead of, I don't know, maybe a weapon. That's just me. Anyway, she goes down the stairs and she finds photos of people dying. And it looks so creepy and weird. Ew. She goes down the hall and she finds a ladder which is locked and needs a key. So good thing it's appeared right next to her. She unlocks the ladder and goes down with no weapon. She goes down and finds a chair with the bucket underneath with the bucket underneath it. And she's a chain from behind the gate. She goes towards it. She sees someone. And this is the worst sight. I mean, one of the worst sights I've ever seen. One of the worst things I've ever seen. Because this lady, she covered with scratches and stuff, with this metal metal thing on her head. It's sad. Anyway, she's like comes towards Anna, and Anna just standing there shocked. I mean, I get it, but help her. Anyway, she looks at the woman eventually, and then she starts to help the woman, gets her out the chains and stuff. And this was very heartbreaking. Not just heartbreaking, it was just so shocking and like, oh my god, man. Because like this shows like the things these people have been doing is just crazy. And Anna brings the woman upstairs. She sets her down and tells her not to move. The woman moves a bit, goes over her dead body, and then she like goes in the corner and tries to take that thing off her head, but it's like connected, implanted in her brain. Anna comes back with something for her wounds. This lady's, she like covered and scratching and stuff, and Anna says, I can't take care of you. And so she brings this lady to a bathtub. Honestly, I thought Anna was about to do a mercy kill because she had like an ice pick thing, and but no, she started to take off the like the 2 clicks on the gear of the whatever is on that lady's head, and like blood just started gushing out. So that was frightening to see. Anyway, she takes off like 2 and then rips off the rest, and oh my god, every time I can't even think about it. Man, I'm just gonna keep going. Anyway, the next morning, Anna wakes up and she hears yelling. They are still in the house, by the way. It's been like 2 days. Anyway, she goes towards the yelling and she finds the lady trying to cut her arm off. She runs out the room. She runs out the room. Anna follows her, and the lady starts scratching and like putting her head and body on a wall. And then she heads for the door, but it's shot in the head. Anna backs out. Like, what the heck just happened? And people was like, come get to the house. Now, I feel like this lady probably would have been saved. I think. I mean, from the scratches, she probably would have been saved if Anna would have gotten her to a hospital in time. She definitely would have been saved. But I don't know if I don't think she would have survived because of basically the same reason for Lucy. It's something in their brain that they can only see that, so they can only they can defeat it, and it's not real. So like, there's nothing anyone else can do, and I feel like it would have overcome them eventually anyway. So, anyway. A woman, the one who like shot that lady, asks Anna who is she and who's that the girl on the couch. Anna like explains to her and Lucy, and basically then like the lady grabs Anna's head and drags her to the downstairs place and handcuffs her to like one of those cabinet doors. Anna like just sits there and waits for like impending doom, obviously, because she saw what these people did. I mean, she saw what they did to that lady. How is she not scared for her life? But anyway, they dump all the bodies like into the hole outside. And the Mademoiselle, she goes downstairs and she sees Anna and she's like, oh, you knew Lucy. She had escaped us back when we were less organized. They are still not organized. I'll get into that later. The girl Anna saw had been like seeing cockroaches on her and was like just trying to get them off. She tells Anna that eventually people start to see things that are real once they're like tortured enough. So that's sad. Anyway. But essentially, Mademoiselle explains to Anna that what they do is torture young girls, and one of 2 things happen. They either die or become a martyr. A martyr is their goal. That's what they want to make. They want to make martyrs. Martyrs, like basically someone who sees life after death. And the lady in charge, like, it shows Anna pictures of people on the verge of death who became martyrs, who like seen the life after death. Anna wakes up on the chair and like chains and a bucket underneath it. She tries to break out of her chains, but like they're metal. It's useless. Anyway. But like looking at it, I feel like she has a range of movement she can do. Because it's a long chain. That's just my opinion. Silver lining, anyone? Eventually, someone comes down and like tries to feed her in some like disgusting food like that they tried to feed Lucy in the flashback. She spits it up because she probably couldn't even digest that. Ew. And the person feeding her took it the wrong way and like holds her head up forcefully and it spits it out more. And the person feeding her slaps Anna. That's effective. The same thing happens again, and the person feeding Anna eventually like just goes upstairs. So you know. Some dude comes later and like he gets Anna, like he unlocks her at her chains, and you'll never guess what happens next. He just starts beating her up, like just punching her ruthlessly, and she doesn't like fight him and barely tries to block. And like this is the perfect time to escape. Like I feel like the perfect time to escape is obviously at the beginning, because like later on you never know how strong you're gonna be. You never know what's gonna happen. So at the beginning is the perfect time, and especially now because like he let you, like he took the chains off. What I would have done is grab the metal chains after like he got her out, grab it and start to try to beat him with it instead of like running for an exit automatically, because that's just so predictable and like what's your end goal? And he probably had some other keys on him, but that's just me. Anyway, they like cut off her hair and stuff, and this is how her day goes basically. She's force fed, beaten, and bathed horribly. So yeah, I feel this movie something else, man. It's just crazy. A lot of time passes shown through like a bunch of cuts. I'm not sure how much though. And then like one day Anna like sees Lucy telling her to let go. Anyway, the next day like the lady goes to feed Anna. Anna doesn't put up any type of struggle or anything, you know. One day someone tells Anna, like the lady that feeds her, that your suffering is almost over and there's just one more stage she has to get through. Someone takes her to a room and puts her on something that holds her down. The next time we see Anna, we see what they did to her, which is the most horrible thing I've ever seen in a film. And maybe because I've never seen such a film like this one ever, and I've seen some crazy things. But basically, yeah, she's skinned like that Titan from Attack on Titans. Yeah. Anyway, that's how she looks now. And she didn't die somehow. I didn't get how. But they also left her face on, so some decency, I guess. It's a crazy sight. I just want to give a shout out to the makeup department, because this was so uncomfortable to like even see. Looking at her, it was like the worst sight ever. Wow, it was just crazy. I don't know how they did it. It's crazy. Anyway, so the lady that feeds Anna goes down and sees that Anna has transcended. So they run upstairs and tell Mademoiselle. We don't know what Anna sees, but they show like a little bit of light or whatever. And the next morning, Mademoiselle comes and Anna is like doing a speech. The assistant, whatever, says that Anna is like the fourth to become a martyr and the first to be able to tell what happened. And Mademoiselle will tell the rest of the people what Anna told her. And her assistant like knocks on the room, asks if what she had been told was clear. Mademoiselle's like taking off her makeup and she says there's no room for interpretations. And then she asks him, can you imagine what there is after death? He says no. She says keep doubting. and then she shoots herself in the head. The screen goes to black, and it shows the meaning of a martyr. Noun, adjective, from the Greek martyrs, and it's like a witness. Final thoughts. I don't think it's based off of a true story. When I asked Google, they didn't give me like a direct answer. I hate when they do that. It's a yes or no question, but they didn't give me a direct answer. I don't think it is. Probably because I know if it is, like, I wouldn't be able to, like, if it is, it just makes things so much worse, honestly. And apparently there's a remake of it. So don't know how that's gonna be. But it has the girl from Pretty Liars, so who knows, maybe, I have hope. The only thing I have is hope now. So, who knows? I don't want it to seem like I hate this film or anything, because the things they did here didn't really make sense sometimes. But I feel like I haven't seen a movie like this in forever. I mean, not forever, ever. I've never seen a movie like this before. And, like, I feel like this movie was filmed and shot in such an amazing and crazy way. And I really did like the film, honestly. I think it is disturbing and unsettling, and hard to get through. And for some people, is the worst film because, like, so horrible, But I really did like this film. I watched it twice. So yeah, this is my how to beat Martyrs video. Like and subscribe, and thank you. I don't know if I'll make I'm planning to make a video of, like, the 2008 version, the original of this one, and the remake of it, and compare and contrast, So who knows?